Alright, here we are on question 20, and we want to write this as a piecewise function. So the first thing I'm going to do is set up x plus 2 equal to 0. And so I get minus 2, so I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides. So I get x equal to negative 2. So I can go ahead and eliminate those two answers. So our if parts is if x is greater than or equal to negative 2, and if x is less than negative 2 will be our if parts. Alright, now to come up with the top part or the first part, I'm just going to leave it as is. So we're going to say 2 times x plus 2 plus 1. So I'm going to distribute the 2, so I get 2x plus 2. I'm going to add the 1 to it, so I'm going to get 2x plus 4 plus 1, so I'm going to end up with 5 here. I'm going to go ahead and write in functional notation. Alright, so that's the first part. So we can see right now that it's going to be a, but let me go ahead and finish the problem and show you how we would do this if it wasn't multiple choice. So you think that negative, so we did it as if it was positive, now let's do it if it was negative. So we put the negative 2, let's make 2 negative and distribute it through and see what happens. So we're going to end up with negative 2x minus 4 plus 1. Combine like terms, we'll have negative 2x minus 3. Okay, and so we end up with a. Alright, so with this one, what we're going to do is say, alright, well, let's read what it says. It wants us to multiply x absolute value by negative 1. So we'll have negative 1 times the absolute value of x. Now then it tells us to shift 2 units to the right. Well, we know to shift to the right or to the left, we have to deal with inside the absolute value. Now we want to shift it right, so we're going to say minus 2. So this right here would be the absolute value multiplied by negative and then move 2 units to the right. But then we look down here and we have a piecewise function. So what we'll do is we'll say x minus 2 equal to 0, add 2 to both sides, so x is equal to 2. So we're going to eliminate those two answers right off the bat. So we're going to write our function in piecewise form. Okay, and we're going to say if x is less than or equal to 2, and if x is greater than or equal to 2, not equal to, sorry, as greater than 2 for that part. Alright, so let's see what happens. So the first thing we're going to do is say, well, let's just keep everything the same. Okay, now the difference is here now everything the same as we got this negative. So we'll have negative x minus 2, distribute the negative, so we get negative x plus 2. Okay, so we'll have negative x plus 2. Now let's think about this, because we're reflecting our graph here. So our graph has been moved over 2 places to the right. So it would come 2 places to the right, and then it's pointing down. So we're going to have a positive slope when the x's, as the x's are approaching 2, and a negative slope as they go away from 2. So our negative slope would actually go with the bottom part of here. So when x, so for that reason, that's why I'm putting this with this part. So as x is getting bigger, x is greater than 2, we're going to be here. Alright, then we had to say, well, what if it had been positive? Okay. So what we'll have here, we'll have the double negatives here. So we'll end up with, anyway, so it'll be plus, and so we'll end up with x. Distribute the, let's go ahead and distribute the negative through and then do another negative. So we end up with negative x plus 2. Okay, then so we end up with x minus 2 because of the x. And for this one, we should end up with x minus 2 for this part. And so for that reason, that's C. Alright, so with this one, we want to know where it's undefined at. This is question 22 on your note-taking guide. We want to know where it's undefined. Well, he knows here it's approaching x equal 1, but we don't cross that, and same thing up here. So for this one, it should be C. It's not defined at 1.